I do like to find things that are a little bit unusual in what I'm looking at. I don't, if I'm painting Provincetown, I used to do sort of very typical street scenes and fairly typical boat scenes and what have you. But I'm more interested in something that has a different kind of interest to it. I find my inspiration in the world around me. But that said, there are a lot of things that do inspire me. So originally, I was a very straightforward landscape painter, very traditional. And over the years, I began to look around and say, well, you know, there are other things that are perhaps not as traditional that I find interesting. And gradually, I started doing other things that were a little bit out of the ordinary as far as what a traditional landscape painter would do. From Henry Hensche, I was learning how to study light effects, and how to use color to express light effects. So light really figures in a lot of ways in all of my paintings, whether they are more traditional landscapes or not so traditional landscapes. It is light that is kind of an organizing theme. There was a big Turner exhibition at the MFA, and I went, and you know, Turner, he just blows you away. But one of the things that impressed me at the time was that Turner had done a lot of sketchbooks, and just piles and piles of sketchbooks. And I've always had sketchbooks, but mostly they were notebooks for me. It was, okay, here's something that I think I might want to paint. I'll do a sketch. So after seeing the Turner show, I said, well, why don't you get into a discipline of doing sketches a lot more? And so I started this sketchbook project, and at first I was just, in a way, just floundering around. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I gradually started doing more and more, and I started seeing different themes that I liked. And ultimately, I started getting drawings that I really liked as drawings. And they were kind of going beyond just being a sketch. It was, you know, this could be something finished of itself. And this is my most recent sketchbook right here. And this is a year now of sketches. Not every day, probably every second or third day, but so about, I don't even know quite how long ago now, I started saying, well, these sketches could really actually turn into a painting. And what could I do to make a painting from this sketch? And that was actually fairly difficult for me, because the sketches are in pencil, black and white. And how was I going to turn them into a painting? And especially because of all the way that I had been taught with color, I was trying to work with that. So I started with a couple of different sketches, and I did these small paintings. And for me, the breakthrough really came. I had this sketch here, and I really liked it a lot. And I said, well, what can I do to turn this into a painting? And something kind of clicked, and I said, Well, don't try to do it in color. Do it in black and white. And I did. And that led to this painting that's hanging out here. There is that process of, I've got something going on here. How do I do it? How do I get it? I'm frustrated. I'm upset. And then one day, oh, there it is. And then you go up, you get on that plateau, you're doing fine, and then you've got another cliff ahead of you that you've got to go up. And